Hello everyone, welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast that we thought was going to have nothing to talk about this week. Thankfully for us, Gamescom was this last weekend, and even though there was nothing official planned for 14, it actually gave us some stuff to talk about. I am your first host, Michael, Mr. Happy Poperomo, and joining me is the other host with the most, which is a new nickname for him now. He's always going to be the host with the most. Slyh, aka Slythefox, aka Slyh, aka Greyfox, aka you, my boy Blue. I already did your first one on the first one, so there you go.
Thank you, and thank God for news.
Thank God for news.
Thank God for news and chicken.
Yeah, we thought the show was going to end up being pretty much complete bullshit right off the bat after last week, where we had to desperately talk about crafting and gathering.
Desperately meaning not talk about it hardly. Like, not even... We really didn't have anything to say about it because actually I've been doing gathering. Yay.
I'm proud of you.
I know. I need Gil. I need funds for the United Negro Dragoon Foundation.
I was just about to say, well, yeah, I was going to say, don't you have the foundation? Why do you need to double your gathering?
Because we need some way to raise funds, and someone actually came up with a better, because I have now the United Negro Miners Foundation because a mine is a terrible thing to waste.
Slyh, sometimes I wonder why you ever wince at what I have to say when you come out and say things like that. But real quick at the start of the show, congratulations on finishing A1 Savage, Slyh.
Thank you. Feels good to be on A2.
Does it feel good?
Yeah.
Does it feel like you just have way more suffering ahead of you?
I'll say that once we get to A3. Because a lot of people are telling me A2 is easier than A1, and then it kind of regresses, and A3 is just more difficult than everything. But I'm hearing horror stories from A4, how A4 is just fuck your life.
Oh, don't worry. We have some pretty funny things to talk about later when it comes to Savage, which has been a big topic for the last few weeks on the show. It's kind of unavoidable, I think.
Right.
I mean, it's what we're doing. That's what there is to do for the most part. But thank the Lord people don't have to sit here and listen to us try to talk about crafting and gathering again this week. Because Gamescom happened.
Yes! Germany.
Thank you, Germany.
Thank you, Germany.
Because you actually gave us quite a few interesting things to talk about. A little peek into Yoshi P's mind, an interview with Famitsu that came out. So I think we're going to start with some of the things that were posted over on novachrysalis.com. For those who don't know, great website for Square Enix and Final Fantasy news. They also do a bunch of other stuff. And they've posted a few tidbits of their interview with Yoshi P. So, strangely, the first thing we're going to talk about is patch 4.0. We're jumping a little bit into the future here.
So soon?
So soon. Well, I mean, you got to start getting prepared because while we just had Heaven's Word, they're already planning for the next expansion, and they're working on the opening cutscene as we speak.
How long does something like that take?
Now, that's actually an interesting thing. They specifically said it took them a year and a half. Well, they started planning Heaven's Word's opening cutscene a year and a half before launch. The question is that launch of A Realm Reborn, or is that launch of the expansion? I'm guessing a launch of the expansion.
So it took them a year and a half to get Derplander to walk through snow?
And fight a dragon.
Fight a Durgan, yeah.
Fight a Durgan. Now, that also, of course, implies that this expansion, the next one, is likely a year and a half out.
Right.
I mean, that's just common sense to me, that if they specifically said it took this amount of time before, and they're starting to work on it now, that again, a year and a half from now, or at least like maybe a year and like 8-9 months, we could already be expecting to go to 4.0.
Again, I'm already expecting to see something next FanFest.
Yeah, we need to find out when they're doing that.
We will. Probably early next year, but we will.
How far in advance did we find out about the other fan festival?
Was it January, February?
No, it couldn't. Maybe they said they were going to do one, but actually buy our tickets?
Oh, not to buy the tickets. No. That was way down the line, but I'm saying in terms of knowing that there's an actual fan festival,
okay,
where it is.
I kind of hope they don't just make it a Final Fantasy XIV fan festival. I kind of hope they kind of branch into other Square Enix products. It would make a lot more sense.
SquareCon?
Yeah, SquareCon. Sure, we'll go with that.
SquareCon. Yeah.
There we go. Square Enix, make it happen. SquareCon. You'll get way more people fighting for tickets because that's a way bigger deal. Distance World concert live, then a Soken concert live. Yeah. Yo, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I want to hear Koji do the Ravana song. I'm down.
You want to hear him do the throat singing?
Blood trickling down to Heidelberg. See? I can imagine Koji doing that easily.
Yeah.
Along with Soken. There we go.
Okay, you're still not tired of it though? Are you?
That one line is the only line I know of the whole thing. I know like blood trickling down my fullers or some other things people share, but I love how it starts so epic and then it goes into the throat singing and I lose all interest in it. It's
just a waltz.
I prefer the first half. It's like the Shiva song. I prefer the first half. I don't like
the
second
waltz.
half.
Wait, why don't you like the second half of Shiva?
Because the first half is so much better. It's so tense, while the second half is just like J-Rock for no reason.
What's wrong with J-Rock?
Nothing's wrong with J-Rock. I just don't want it in the middle of my Shiva fight. All of a sudden, it's just like, oh my god, this crazy epic music with this chorus.
No. See, you're traumatized because of what happened at fucking FanFest. Because of
we didn't even get Shiva at FanFest.
Huh?
We didn't even get Shiva at FanFest.
No, but remember when we were doing Odin and all of a sudden something scared the living crap out of you?
Oh my god, I do remember that. What was that?
That was Shiva.
Oh, that's right. When they turned the speakers all the way up.
That's why you're traumatized.
But that was the first half, wasn't it? I don't think.
No, that was the second half.
No, we didn't know what the second half sounded like. Remember with Soken, he refused to perform it?
No, he played a little bit of it.
No, he flat out refused to perform it because they performed it at the European.
No, he didn't perform it, but he played the actual,
Oh yeah. I think I remember that. You're right. It was during a thing with Soken during the music. Anyway, we got way off topic. Where do we think we're going for this expansion?
Alamigo.
Alamigo? We're still going with that?
We're liberating Alamigo.
I'm leaning towards that too, but something's interesting. When Yoshi P was interviewed about Heavensward, before we knew that's what the expansion was, he said when they were first trying to decide where to go for 3.0, they said we had to choose between flying and swimming. And they chose flying, and I really hope they don't just decide to make us swim in 4.0. Because I could care less about swimming.
So, what other possibility is there? Garlemald?
No,
Othard?
There's no way. That's the problem. There's nowhere else for us to go. We haven't even...
Othard?
We haven't even gotten all of our continent back. We're going to go to another continent that's taken over by the Garleans?
What are our options? That's what I'm asking. What are our options?
It's got to be. I wonder what's out there, though. Like, there's got to be... And on top of that, with Ilberd being such a major factor and him being all about liberating Alamigo, I mean, that just already feels like it's kind of leading into it to some degree. So Mericidia being another option. I don't know if you saw that post on Reddit where somebody showed where they might actually have... You know how we can see the world in the last cutscene? They pointed out a continent to the south that looks like it could probably be Mericidia.
So...
maybe we have to swim to get there.
Endless Makotes.
Endless Makotes. Maybe evil Makotes.
Well, do we already have those?
They're all... People are evil in general.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the next thing that Nova Chrysalis talked about, quests are annoying.
No shit.
Exactly. So,
again, we're going back to the whole Moogle thing, but I mean, if you're talking about like regular fetch kill quests, those are fine to an extent. But anywhere along the lines of Moogles, yeah, it's kind of fucking annoying.
And Yoshi P seems to agree. Because he outright said, due to feedback, they will probably never do something along the lines of the Moogle quest ever again.
Hopefully, I hope that they make a joke about it in a quest, like in a future expansion quest, like, or he tries to troll us, and then just and then
listen. He trolled us well enough with tens of dozens and just too many quests, too many Moogle quests. He trolled us. That's it. We're done. Thank God, we'll never see another Moogle quest or Moogle turning mist Moogle quest ever again.
Durgan Daycare, greater than Moogle.
All right, let's be a little bit more clear about this then. They don't want to do that type of side quest, not specifically Moogles. That was like super tedious, difficult to find for no reason at all because Moogles suck at getting lost type of quest.
Moogles? Okay. This is not any Lalafell hate. For those who hate Lalafels, Moogles are worse. Moogles are not...
See, you didn't say Moogles are bad and Lalafels aren't bad, though. You just said Moogles are worse, which implies Lalafels are still bad.
I said for those who hate Lalafels. Don't include me in that. Don't include me. Don't include me. I'm the NAACP of Eortzia.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
So, instead what they're going to be working on is they want to give side quests better stories.
How?
I don't know. Hildebrand's a side quest with a story.
But you can't make everything as good as Hildebrand. I mean, Hildebrand kind of stands alone in that department.
Well, I mean, that's not entirely true. I mean, you have some other interesting quests. You have the Doman quests that surfaced in the expansion. You have some of the broom quests that people, while they may have been puzzles, people enjoyed getting to know Matoya's cave a little bit better, or doing these quests for the brooms that challenged the mind a little bit. It seems like they at least attempted to do this with some of the other quest lines. I mean, even the Moogle quest lines have light stories involved in them. Did they
Nobody cared about them. We were so pissed that I didn't even realize there was an actual story in there. Like, I just wanted to get done.
But would you say at least Heavensward attempted to maybe make side quests a little bit more story-oriented than A Realm Reborn did, even if they were still tedious quests in the end?
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough, then. Because also, one of my favorite quest lines is the one in the Dravanian Forelands with the Chocobo Ranch.
KFC.
Yeah, the KFC Ranch. Yeah, that one. Sure. Kentucky Fried Chocobo. There you go.
Yep.
Anyway, so on top of making it so they have more proper stories, they just don't want this shitty little quest that we have right now, where it's just the same formula over and over and over and again while we level. Which I think is good. I don't just want to kill stuff all the time.
So you're essentially adding new gameplay elements to side quests?
Yeah. You know, branching outside of what the game itself and the engine itself is kind of designed to do. And, I mean, some of the things are standard, like stealth-type quests or unique world interactions. One of them listed was maybe a simple thing such as just jumping off of a cliff or jumping off of a tall building and trying to land in a specific spot.
Elusive jump.
Like that. There you go. Well, elusive jump, I don't know. I think you might overshoot if you try to do it with elusive jump.
No, you just teleport down. That's
just teleport. I mean, I know because friggin' the Bard ability, the repelling shot does the same thing. They've been looking at you, Titan. And more mini-game type quests. You know, not just not these simple types of things. Things that are basically mini-games while you're leveling up.
Triple Triad quest?
Parlay quest?
Parlay quest?
Oh my god. Good, they can have a reason to introduce it back into the game. I mean, we've seen some things like this with the Beast Tribe quests, like the stealth quest for the Sylphlands. Sorry. I couldn't say that with a straight face, because Sylphlands just...
Aggro hell.
Not anymore, thankfully. But,
yeah, because we're over leveled, but yeah.
But the memories, while you're walking through there, you're still just like, you're just looking left and right, like, please, please.
I just run in whatever direction and just pray to God that I survive it, and I don't get slowed enough to the point that I actually get killed.
I mean, what kind of minigame quests could you even think of?
Minigame quest. God. Like I said, it's gonna have to add a new element, not just something that's already in the game. It's gonna add a new element in the game. Fuck, I don't know. Arm wrestling something?
Arm wrestling?
I don't know. That's the first thing that came off the top of my head.
You know what? I agree. I want an arm wrestling because I want my Lalafell to arm wrestle a Rogadin and win. Because that would be great for a quest, especially if there was like unique text with it. Like, how is this even possible? Dude, it would literally be he'd just be grabbing our whole arm, and you just hold the arm.
No, he'd just be grabbing the whole. Like, all he would do is just grab the hand and just raise him up.
Just pick them up.
It's I don't know. What do you think? Because that's the only idea that came to the top of my mind. What do you think would be a new?
There was a really interesting quest in World of Warcraft and Wrath of the Lich King where you started flying up on a dragon and you had to latch or like hookshot from dragon to dragon and with unique actions beat the riders off of the dragons in front of you. It was almost like God of War jumping from dragon to dragon. Yeah. It's all completely automated with abilities, kind of like a siege, kind of like a Gobwalker type interaction where you have a few select keys that do certain things. Mm-hmm. But it definitely was a quest that left an impression on me. I still remember it to this day. And quests like that I'd be all welcome for.
But the only issue I have with that is you're kind of making it into another game. You're kind of going in a different genre. That sounds, like you say, like something like God of War, old school Shinobi.
Like jumping up on enemies and
yeah.
I don't know. I like quests like that kind of makes me feel like I'm not just grinding out the same game over and over again. It breaks up the monotony. Shooting cannons like in Stone Vigil. I mean,
target practice. I like that idea. Thank you.
I didn't like that idea. What was the event where you had to shoot the friggin' cactuars that were moving and you had to hit? Oh my god! I think that was that last year's summer event? I don't remember what event that was.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't remember. But ultimately, I guess using siege type weapons like the cannon are probably what I'd want to go for.
Bismarck Rodeo?
Yeah, sure. I'll take the Bismarck Rodeo. Yeah. Jump from one Bismarck to the next. Sure, why not? How about we have to like in Street Fighter, instead of where they had to punch the car, we got we got to punch a Gobwalker. I don't know, like destroy it down to oblivion. Just
DPS it down to like nothing.
You got to DPS each side of it too, like the flank, the rear, the front.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you.
And then you have the guy crouch and then hit the low part of it to complete it.
Yeah, exactly. See, these are all good ideas.
Thank you, Capcom.
Thank you. Thank you. Now bring Mega Man back. Anyway, that's all I can. I just want Mega Man. I'm sorry. Can we get a Mega Man minigame in 14? Bad box art Mega Man? I'll take it. Okay, and the last thing that Nova Crystallis really got to talk about was the Gold Saucer, which is going to be seeing an update in 3.1. We've kind of known this for a while. They've been talking about adding like 20 new cards and a new attraction because everybody wants snowboarding, battle arena, something else that was in the Final Fantasy VII equivalent. And he says this thing is supposed to be massive, the next one, equivalent to Triple Triad or Chocobo Racing, the same amount of development and the same just general increase in capacity to what the Gold Saucer is capable of. Are we looking forward to new Gold Saucer events?
Meh.
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 Man, what happened to Mr. Chocobo Race over here? Speaking of which, guess what?
What?
I did win a towel, apparently.
You won a towel. I don't have to pick on you anymore with my towel. Congratulations. You got it in the mail?
No. So the official Twitter sent me a message that congratulations, you won a prize in the Chocobo Race. And I was like, no, I didn't. I'm not going to tell them that, whatever. And then I just they sent me, I said, send me an email. Now they sent me an email, and I just have to sign the documentation, and I get a towel. It confirmed it is the towel that I won.
Nice.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
It's annoying that they need me to scan it, though, because I don't have a scanner. It's relatively annoying. Anyway, so just meh. What if it was the battle arena? Wouldn't that be badass?
Okay, I know this was a complete troll, but
don't.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Don't say Blitzball.
God, no. Why the fuck would I ever say Blitzball? No.
Okay, what's the one you were going for?
I know, like I said, I know it was a complete troll on Square Enix's part, but the, Final Fantasy XIV Ultimate Fighter thing.
Oh, as we're talking about Capcom, I guess that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I would actually be a fan of that. But it's not going to happen.
No. There's a 0% chance of that happening.
Yeah, with like a 5-minute super. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Just what are the Blaze Blues called? What does Blaze Blue call them? I don't remember. The super long astral finishes or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, the instant finishers. Yeah, it's not going to happen. like a 5-minute finisher that has Stancred hitting on 2 freaking Ellison women, and then were they Ellisons or Makotes? Either way, and then losing both of them. Yeah, 5 minutes for a finisher.
Yo, I mean, Final Fantasy 14 looking to go to esports eventually. I mean, that's their ticket right there.
Yep.
There we go. I mean, so it's not even just a big attraction apparently that's coming though. There's other new mini games and like adjustments to MGP and the rewards that you can pick up and whatnot. So
who do these shits anymore? I'm sorry, I had to ask this question. Who actually legitimately does the Cuff-a-Cur and the monster toss and everything? Who does that?
I do it waiting for chocobo races. I
don't even see anyone do the Typhon gate anymore, and that shit was hype. I used to love doing Typhon. I don't see anybody do it anymore. I hardly go to the Gold Saucer to do my mini crackpot, and I actually just won recently a 10K.
Yeah, I got one 10K too today. High five. There we go.
Yeah. I know you've gotten it like a dozen times though, and
I'm at 220,000 MGP, man.
And that's my second time getting 10K.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
way to rub it in.
That's a rough life right there.
Thank
so what
you,
you're saying is you're really close to that Fenrir amount. Like you're right there, just on the cusp of the million MGP needed.
Yeah. I'm only like 960,000 away.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
We just got to get 96 more 10K wins.
Yeah.
Easy.
Even
if you get the 3,600 win, you'll be all right. Just need more of them. Just got to believe, Sly.
So I'm third world in Gil and in MGP. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. The ultimate third world.
I am ultimate third world. I am just terrible.
Terrible. So, I mean, it sounds like they're still adding more of these minigames. When I think minigames, I think of the Cuff-a-Cur and the basketball game and I guess the gates. Like when I think of minigames, that's what I think of, are those things.
That's what I think of too, and like I said, who bothers to do them anymore? Like, what percentage of people actually still go to the Gold Saucer?
I go every day.
Good for you, Happy. Good.
Maybe I'll start chocobo racing again. You never know. I need that million.
Really? When are I actually want to see this happen. I really want to see this happen. That you actually legitimately go and stay for a while in the Gold Saucer.
And stay for a while. Just AFK there overnight. There you go. I'm there for a while.
Yeah. AFK until it logs you out. Perfect.
Oh, no, that's not in the game anymore. They took out that AFK kick.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, me too, because I log off like a human being most of the time. So this, even though, new event 3.1 of these new mini games, this doesn't sound like something they can kind of fit into the Gold Saucer that's already there.
It's already crammed as is.
Does that mean were we going to get a new wing?
What, a new floor?
I don't know. Yeah, sure. Why not?
I mean, the design of the Gold Saucer is just a big-ass cactar, so is there a floor we haven't unlocked yet?
I don't know. I don't know. I actually don't know the way that it's modeled on the inside versus the way it functions on the out, or the way it looks on the outside.
Are we gonna get a new food court?
Yeah. Get a food court. Hey, you can already buy food. You can buy cheap food in the Gold Saucer. Actually, no, it's not cheap food. You can buy food in the Gold Saucer already.
Yeah, but it's not cheap.
Yeah, like when people are mentioning the unused doors, I imagine that's for staff.
No.
They have staff.
I mean, I understand, but a big ass door for staff, like a really huge ornate door for staff, really?
Yeah. No. They treat the staff special there.
No.
Sure they do.
Of course they treat the bunny girl special. Who wouldn't?
I was talking about the cactars that dance or whatever the hell they do. They do the Manderville. They do the flexing thing and then they
the little pose. The little pose, yeah.
They do the little Manderville pose.
Yeah.
But even outside of the Gold Saucer, they also brought up another new mini game. Mini game seems to be the topic of the night.
Right.
Something for our flying mounts. Flying through rings. Superman 64, anyone?
Nope. It's not Superman 64. It's Knights.
Is that like the Japanese name for Superman 64?
No, it's not. You don't remember the game Nights into Dreams with the whole like jester-looking thing that flew through the rings? It was on Sega Saturn.
I didn't own a Sega Saturn. I owned an N64, like a good little Nintendo Game Boy growing up.
Does anyone in chat remember Nights into Dreams? Because Superman 64, like that idea, but Nights into Dreams, yes, Sega game. Thank you. That's the more feasible idea. It was
when I think of Sega and rings, I think of Sonic.
Okay.
Or I think of Superman 64. Flying through rings.
Star Fox. Star Fox is a better analogy.
Yeah, but that game didn't scar me for life. I beat Superman 64, I would like to let you know.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't give up after the first level. I beat that game. It sucks so much. It's such a bad game. Oh, man.
Oh, God.
So, Final Fantasy XIV with flying through rings. They said it's going to be an instance area. You're going to have like a time limit to fly through all the rings, but I have to...
No, wait. Is it going to be as bad as Final Fantasy X Chocobo races?
See, that's my thing. Are we going to be just free flying on our mount, or is it going to be like Final Fantasy X Chocobo where you have to hit the balloons and it's like you kind of have control, but like...
You don't. But you don't have control. And seagulls and balls out of nowhere hit you and everything.
Who's throwing those things? I don't know who's throwing those things.
Who the hell are throwing them shits?
Just imagine like a squirrel in a tree. There's no trees in the Great Plains, but just imagine a squirrel in a tree thrown. Yeah, like, I mean, it's either they completely cripple the control so it's actually hard to get through the rings, or we have to do it with our flying mounts and we have complete control and there's no way you can screw it up.
There might be a way to boost the speed of your flying mounts. I don't know.
But we still have complete control of our flying mount. Like, I don't see how, unless you're just playing on keyboard and you have to keyboard turn, like, how that you're going to be challenged in any way for these flying mini games.
Controller for the win, baby.
And keyboard and mouse for the win. I'm just saying, like, the only way I imagine it being tough is if they don't change the controls at all, is if you had to do it like keyboard only. There's no way they could enforce that, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be the sequel to Superman 64.
Still saying it's Knights. It's still Knights. Or Star Fox.
Nah, man. Star Fox hasn't flown through rings since, like, the N64. Alright? He's too busy fighting dinosaurs and destroying plagues of the universe.
He's about to go through rings again.
Yeah, I guess you're right, unfortunately. Yeah. Alright. So those are the things from Nova Crystallis that got covered. But
and
the other
Gold Saucer. Yeah.
What? I like the Gold Saucer. Just to spite you, I'm gonna go do Chocobo racing. Just to spite you. I'm gonna get a rank 9 Chocobo just to spite you. No, not tonight. I got Savage tonight.
Of course.
Convenient.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's a bunch of interviews we're waiting to come out this week. Nova Crystallis said they have one, but they didn't have it posted yet. So instead, we got the Famitsu interview translation this morning, courtesy of Slicer over on the BG forums. As always, he always gets this stuff out pretty quick. So we covered a few topics that we've spoken about the past few weeks, but the big one is Astrologian.
Of course it is.
There's no way Yoshi P could get through an interview without somebody asking him, what the hell are you doing with Astrologian?
Mm-hmm.
And they actually admitted...
Has Astrologian in static.
Yes, and Slyh very much is looking forward to this.
Mm-hmm.
They admit they were kind of afraid of making Astro better than it is.
Why?
They didn't want to make it overpowered and then remove that power, as opposed to, you know, kind of tuning it down so it was at least on like a slightly lower level, and maybe the players would come up with mathematical solutions or play styles, because I think they kind of almost put their trust in the players. Like, we know our players are so good that we're going to end up thinking this is fine, and they're going to make us look like idiots because it's going to be so overpowered.
Then fucking nerf it. Just do it. Now do this. Like, do I have to...
Well, they don't want to nerf it now. No, you don't have to do the squat flex. Because I was afraid of that when you said the words, just do it, in a row. So I'm going to assume you don't like the approach of make it weak and then power it up as opposed to make it powerful and then tone it down.
Make it more powerful. Like, I would go with the approach of making it more powerful. Like, it could have been that overwhelming. It couldn't have been that OP to where it would have broke the actual game. I don't think it would have been that bad. I don't think the devs would have allowed one class or one job to be that overpowered. So just do it. I mean, sorry, going back to Shia, but yeah, I'd actually prefer that than having a mass opinion that just, oh, well, we probably don't want an Astrologian right now. Aren't you trying to get away from that? Aren't you trying to make it so that you can go into any instance, any raid with any job or class or whatnot, and not have to worry about who's more feasible than any other, not have to worry about composition? This is the exact opposite of what you were trying, quote unquote, to go for.
Well, I think they listed that their main concern is they were afraid that because Astro can do both Scholar and White Mage's technical job with the whole shielding versus hot thing, that people would just take one of each and say, forget the other two healers. That was their biggest concern.
Yeah, we're saying forget Astrologian. We're still going to use Scholar and White Mage.
At least it's two jobs instead of one.
I mean, it's like Astrologian has become a non-issue, yet I have an Astrologian in my raid group if we've gotten through A1 Savage. So it's not all that bad, but it definitely could be better.
I mean, everything could be better. Felcleave could still be better. Might as well just make that just work Equilibrium into Felcleave. Why not, right? Just and then make Equilibrium do the same thing that it did without it, and then it's just all right, whatever. I like Felcleave. It's a good ability. You like
Felcleave in PvP.
No, I just like Felcleave. There's nothing more satisfying than having Berserk up and hitting 3 Felcleaves. Nothing more satisfying.
That's the only reason I hate Felcleave. As a person who doesn't tank, I hate Felcleave because of PvP.
Hey, listen, you should hate summoners more than warriors. That's all I'll say. Get 2-shot by that death flare.
They haven't really been as bad as
don't,
recent, but
don't
that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
Don't lie to me.
Right.
All right, well, I mean, another reason was they saw the World First race going on, and they didn't want to throw this giant wrench in the side of it.
How was that throwing a wrench into it?
Because all of a sudden, everyone's like, this job sucks. And then it's like, oh my god, now this job's amazing. Shit, do we have 2 Astros? Oh, nope, well, guess we're screwed because they decided they wanted to buff it in the middle of the race, and we didn't have it leveled, and we're not prepared for those jobs and
how
the
does
tools
that
they
screw
bring.
you, though? How does that screw, like, your current raid group or current raid groups who already have shit together, they don't have to worry about putting an Astro in? It's just groups who have an Astro that kind of shit changes for them now. It could, like, change potentially for the better. I don't see how it's a monkey wrench.
Well, just because these groups may not have an Astro available, and they may buff it to the point where Astro is the key to pushing something over the edge. Some sort of aspect about the Astro very easily could have pushed the race in favor of one group or the other.
It's not that major. It's not that major. I don't think. At least I don't think it is.
I mean,
I don't think it would be.
I mean, it's not that it would be, or it's just that it could be. Out of concern for the race, they pretty much just said, we'll wait. And also they used Savage as a means of determining where Astrologian's weak points actually were in the highest end content. So they needed that information as well.
So Astrologians were guinea pigs, basically.
Yeah. If you were playing an Astrologian in Savage right now, you were a guinea pig. They wanted to know what was wrong.
For great science. Thank you.
Yeah, for science.
For great science.
So, on top of all that, not only was it Astro that they were kind of looking at with these changes, but they were just looking at balance in general.
AKA Dank Knight.
Dank Knight. Well, I mean, I guess it's not just that. I mean, there's concern about quite a few jobs, and where they fit in Savage. Not that they can't be used in Savage, but just that there's very clear player they're discriminating against certain jobs, pretty much. It's very common.
Now, are we going to call this, quote, discrimination, or again, the old argument that one job is better than the other. What are we?
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, mathematically, it ultimately comes down to figuring out which allows you to achieve the certain thing on a certain fight. But they, as much as they don't want it to happen, people like math. It's unavoidable that someone's going to find something that is mathematically better than something else.
The machines are winning.
Machinists.
No, they're not. No.
Yeah.
The machines, not the machinists.
No, the machinists are winning too.
How?
They're doing all right. Machinists probably one job everyone thinks they screwed up on that's actually doing real good in Savage. Every week, it seems like more and more machinists popping up in Savage because there's like, damn, hypercharge.
Going back to a few weeks, what I said. I'm just gonna say, Uncle Slyh told you so. Thank you,
Slyh. Thank you, Uncle Slyh.
You're welcome. Uncle Slyh told all of y'all. But y'all ain't want to listen. One of these days, y'all gonna listen to Uncle Slyh. I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you.
I just now you don't need a couch. Now you need a rocking chair.
Rocking chair.
Yeah, it's rocking chair. Oh, you should listen to Uncle Slyh. Uncle Slyh told you.
Now, it'd be true Uncle Slyh had like a cigarette in my mouth and just be talking with the cigarette. Hey, Uncle Slyh told you something, man. I'm trying to tell you, Uncle Slyh told you. You don't listen to Uncle Slyh one of these damn days, I'm telling you. While I'm working on a car or something, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this is basically the shit I've been saying. Like, wait on it. Give it time. Just give it time to be optimized. And, oh, Machinist sucks. Oh, fucking Dark Knight sucks. You take a Dark Knight with you into Savage. You probably have Machinist in Savage. The only real problem, and it's not really that much of a problem since we take one, is Astrologian. And that shit's about to be fixed real soon. You know, shit should have been fixed in the first place. Y'all should have just not nerfed it as bad. But, you know, like I said, to give it time, and time has been given, and look where we're at now.
What jobs do you think are actually going to see some balance? I mean, Astro's kind of a given.
Right.
Is there any other job that you think is going to see some sort of adjustment that you've been seeing discrimination against?
Pallies.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the Paladin. It's just they don't do as much damage. That's literally it.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you don't see a lot of them in Savage right now. I mean, I don't know if anyone else have, but I haven't. And yeah, that's the first thing I was thinking of. Was like, they're probably going to balance the Paladin more to do a little bit more DPS.
They can't bring it up to Dark Knight levels, though. They can't. There's no way they bring it up to Dark Knight levels with how defensively powerful it is. Okay,
so what would be your definition of balancing a Paladin to Warrior or Dark Knight?
Give them Felcleave. Just if you want to make something stronger, just give it Felcleave. That's all you need to do, realistically.
Right.
As soon as you give it Felcleave, job is balanced.
Look at chat. Hold on. Look at chat. Why would you want to balance monks? Because dragoons are better right now?
Slyh smiled when he said that.
I'm sorry, I did. There was a little bit of smirk before. I couldn't even hide it.
He's like, oh, dragoons are better, huh?
I tried my best to hide it, but okay. Sorry. Because dragoons are better. But which really they're not. Monks still do amazing DPS. Same with ninjas. I don't see why they would need to balance any of the DPS classes besides, well, maybe. Well, I wouldn't even say machinists. No.
Okay. Machinists doing great right now.
Yeah, you're doing fine. I'm going to balance any of the DPS. I wouldn't touch any of the DPS.
I gotta admit, though, looking at Dragoon, like, if you look at the full picture, Dragoon versus Monk, I would be happier with some Monk changes. Not that they're not that they're unusable, but I just look at them and I think, what happened? Mm-hmm. What happened to this job compared to the way it was before? Because here's the thing, Dragoon got Grease Lightning. So Dragoon got an AoE crit buff. Dragoon has more health.
Mm-hmm.
Dragoon has arguably better damage, depending on gear and skill and all that stuff factoring in. I mean, they can still use the shitty mantra, and people are bringing Dark Knights for Delirium anyway. The two main things were mantra and Dragon Kick. People found a replacement for Dragon Kick, and people don't give a shit about Mantra.
I'm sorry, but that last little stint you did there, I was trying so hard not to like crack a Kool-Aid smile at every point you made about Dragoon. Sorry, but it kind of seeped out. Sorry, but yeah, it just feels good to have this being said.
It's okay, because according to chat, you can still jump to your death. That's fine.
Yeah, we can at least jump to our death. Yeah.
No, you could just jump and die. That's still a problem. I mean, it's a problem that's never going to go away, but it's still a thing.
Oh, yeah, animation lock. Yeah, of course. That's not going to go away, but we've gotten used to it by now.
I guess the question is, what would they even do to Monk? Because at this point, it's just the fact that Dragon Kick has a replacement. It's really where we're seeing that people are bringing less monks, because monks are still perfectly fine. I know a monk that did 1183 Savage to clear. He did 1096 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing wrong with monks that are doing 1096 and 837.
DPS right now. Like I said, don't touch them.
It's just that the thing is, if they don't address these things, the hive mind of people just immediately is like, that job sucks. Like, they don't even consider the strengths and weaknesses. They just see, what are other people doing? That job sucks.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's my, here's what I think is going to happen. Here's the possibility. Somebody's going to complain. There's going to be a live letter. There's going to be questions. Somebody's going to complain. Oh, DPS isn't balanced. Yoshi P, either he'll say, get good.
Get good.
Which is what I'm hoping he will say. Or he'll kind of bend to the will of the masses, and maybe a nerf will come down. Don't touch my shit. I'm just going to let you know right now, do not touch my shit. Our shit does not need to be nerfed. It's fine. We do good damage. We're in a good spot right now. Don't touch my shit. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Yoshi P, give him less magic defense again. See, okay.
That's how it could go wrong.
To be fair, you guys didn't need less magic damage taken and blood for blood to have less damage taken. You didn't need both of those changes, to be fair.
Well, we like to survive during blood for blood.
I like to survive too. Guess what? Mine's still 30%.
I like the goon tank with blood for blood on.
And I like the ninja tank with shade shift.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that well anymore. I almost tanked Bismarck hard mode ad phase, the second ad phase today as my ninja. My healers were...
you said almost.
Yeah, there was an incident. I think one of the healers died, and then I died shortly after. But we still won. We still didn't have to wipe. It was pretty brilliant. Shout out to those healers. Anyway, I'm expecting Dark Knight adjustments.
Yeah, of course.
I still feel that
I'm expecting pally adjustments.
It's weird though, because people look at Dark Knight and they think the job's amazing. It still has a lot of problems. Good, but it's still. I hope they saw Living Dead and didn't think that was okay. I still hate that ability so much.
I think really what Dark Knight is just a temporary fix for a paladin. Because I mean, technically now we're having 2 DPS tanks. In terms of Savage, you just have 2 DPS tanks, and Paladin just gets left in the dust because it can't do anything. It's just a fix. It's just a simple.
Whoa! Can't do anything. Let's not harp on it. I've seen Paladins do some pretty respectable numbers. Just ain't Dark Knight respectable or Warrior respectable.
Exactly. That's why they don't take them in.
I don't.
Right now, I'm saying Paladin needs a little bit of a buff. It needs that buff. It's become temporarily irrelevant.
I think just buff Sword Oath. Make it 75 potency. Fuck it. We're done. That's it. That's my fix.
That's the only fix you can pick up is just buff Sword Oath.
That's it. Just make Sword Oath 75 instead of 50. We're good to go.
Okay.
I'm down.
All right.
I'm down with that. If that's really the only solution is that they're behind on DPS, give them 25 more potency on Sword Oath on every auto attack. That adds up.
That's not going to catch them up to...
That adds up pretty
It's not going to catch them up to Dark Knight and Warrior levels.
They ain't going to ever be on Dark Knight and Warrior levels.
Again, going back to what we want, like what the devs, I believe, think they want, is just a balanced game where you could put in any role. And right now, we can't put in paladins in that role because they just don't do that damage. It should be interchangeable.
You know, we should actually maybe look at this from another angle.
Okay.
Maybe the issue isn't that Dark Knight deals more damage than Paladin. And let's be honest, Warrior is a mainstay. Like, if you have a Warrior, you're not going to be like, hey, Warrior, change to Dark Knight. No, your Warrior's staying Warrior.
Right.
Is the issue that too much focuses on DPS?
When hasn't that been an issue?
Well, I mean, I'm looking back at back at Final Coil, back at Second Coil, and yeah, DPS is always a consideration, but that didn't stop people from looking at, well, Warrior is, really good in both main tank and off tank damage. People didn't go in and double stack Warriors. People didn't look at, people weren't always just taking the hands down best DPS jobs. People were trying things with multiple.
I'll stop you right there.
Yeah.
When we went into A1, what were the first things a lot of people were
I'm talking about back in Coil, though.
Okay, that was back in Coil. We're in Savage now. And the first thing people are asking, how much DPS do you need to clear Faust? How much raid-wide DPS do you need for Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3 of A3? It's kind of important. It's a necessary evil, so of course we're going to think about this. We're not going to, are we overthinking it a bit? Maybe. Sure, I'll bend with you there. But right now it's a necessary evil, so of course, DPS is on a lot of our minds.
I guess I mean from the design aspect of the game. All of a sudden, this hyper high DPS. Or is it we're just impatient because they obviously designed these fights with a certain item level in mind? Is it just that, because Yoshi P himself said healers are not expected to DPS in Savage. But
bullshit.
But okay, he said when you reach the right item level. And I still think that's bullshit because I do not see making up the scholar that does 800 DPS in the first 2 phases of A3 Savage. That shit ain't getting made up for with gear.
There's not enough gear in the world, and I think even if you have every single bit of Savage gear, I'll go Savage gear route. If you have every bit of Savage gear, it's not going to make up for the little bit of DPS that any scholar could do or any white mage could do. Well, I wouldn't say white mage, but scholar. Yeah.
And then we have the other side of the argument. They did give all these classes DPS skills. I mean, they weren't just for leveling.
Right. There's a reason everybody has a DPS. Not even non-DPS classes have DPS skills. There's a reason.
Yeah. Hell, look at Warrior. Look at friggin' Deliverance. That's a giant. Hey, your next 5 abilities, they're gonna make you a monster. Pretty much, in a nutshell.
Yep.
I don't know. I still think Dark Knight's TP and Living Dead need adjustments. Those are the 2 things I'm expecting.
Why? Why does Living Dead need any kind of adjustment?
It sucks so much. You can find uses for it, yes, but compared to Hallowed Ground, which you just laugh at, which by the way I think is the root of the problem because Hallowed Ground is just way too good.
So Living Dead, was it 10 seconds?
You have 10 seconds to activate it, 10 seconds to heal them up to full. So my issue
where's the problem in there? Okay,
so the problem is that Hallowed Ground requires no interaction with anyone other than the Paladin itself. It's by far the root of the problem because it's way too overpowered, which is good. It gives Paladin a niche thing. Then you have the Warrior's Home Gang. Okay. It's got strengths. It's got weaknesses. It's got the strength you can't die. It's got the little pull-in strength. Ignore that. And it's got the strength that it's got a set period of time. 6 seconds is what I got to work with. You will not die after the 6 seconds as I will heal you and make sure that you are not in a fatal range at the end of those 6 seconds. Or you have a Paladin cover them, or some sort of counterplay that isn't random. Then you have Living Dead. Well, anytime in the next 10 seconds it could pop. And also, you could completely heal it in 2 seconds and then I could die a second later. It could end up being a 2-second immunity. It's a cheat death with a heal mechanic tied to it, not a 10-second immunity. Unless you very specifically tie in one of your healer's top panic cooldowns just to make use of this single ability.
That's what we do.
That's what everyone does.
That's
He's
what
like,
we do.
And then the healer goes,
You just basically answered your own question. That's
then the
what
healer
we
goes,
do.
I don't have benediction. Please help. Please help. Please help. Please help. And then the black mage is busy casting physic. He's like, I don't let him die. I won't let him die. I don't know. I don't like living dead. Hallowed ground is the root of all evil in looking at a cooldown. Because if there was no hallowed ground type cooldown where the ultimate I will not die, I promise, then all these jobs wouldn't even need to have this issues.
What were you expecting from a name like Living Dead? We got these
not to be a pain in the ass.
We got these explanations so long ago, yet now we actually have utilized these skills and have gotten time with them. Like, this shit sucks.
And the thing is, my issue isn't even that you need to be healed to full. It's that you can be healed to half and then get hit and then heal to half and all of a sudden it's gone. But you're still at half health and it could have only lasted 3 or 4 seconds. It's either that or you gotta wait till 9 seconds and blow one of your strongest cooldowns on it. It's just that it's more stressful and it's more cooldown intensive than both of the other hallowed equivalents, since I always call it hollowed. I think everyone I know calls it hollowed, even though it's hallowed ground. Hallowed. Hollow Bastion.
Yeah,
but that has an O in it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so we're talking about DPS a lot.
Yeah.
By the way, apparently DPS are too good.
You want to know why? You want to know why?
Why, Sly? Why are DPS too
Because
good?
I can rip hate from fucking tanks.
Are those tanks wearing weapons, or are they...
Yeah, and see, that's where I kind of second guess myself. I'm like, am I really this good, or is the tank under-leveled, or just not?
It's like, oh, I did my entire rotation in there in Deliverance. Whoops.
Yeah, see, right. I don't think it's that much of an issue that we're ripping hate. I think it's just a leveling difference, and I think it's past. Like, I mean,
because we talked about this, and I didn't even get to my point. You were like, you're like a step ahead of me on this one. Apparently, this is still. They spoke about this in the live letter where people are like, my tanks keep losing aggro. Please help. And Yoshi P was like, that just sounds like an item level difference.
You're good.
I guess we'll take a look at it, but
get your item level good.
I mean, that's just the thing. I mean, it's expected with item level difference. But they say they're addressing it. So what the hell do they do to address this?
Why?
I agree.
All right. The only time, like, I trust my tanks. I love my tanks. The only time I rip hate from them is if they make a mistake. I remember when you came in on my A1, it's like, love that tank swap mechanic. I was like, no, I wasn't even trying. He just made a mistake. He just made a fuck up. That was just it. Like, it's a non-issue. Tanks are fine. Everybody should be geared now. We're past the moratorium of gear in terms of where we should be at. Now, in the near future, I just don't see it being as big of an issue. It was just an issue of, you know, tanks who were undergeared, who you're talking about tanks who were probably still getting law pieces as opposed to some or most who probably had every single law piece upgraded, had their weapon upgraded, you know, everything, as opposed to just this, you know, this tank over here who you run into dungeon with, and you, like you said, go through your whole rotation, and all of a sudden you're getting your face smacked in. And yet and still, like, some instances recently of A4 normal.
Don't worry, Sly, I knew you meant normal.
Yeah, thank you. I'll get quarantined.
God, I know where this is going.
Never mind.
It applies to Savage too.
Yeah, it applies to Savage. So I'll get quarantined, you know, DPS and tank, and I just start going ham, and all of a sudden the ads start smacking my face in, and tank can't pull them back. So I'm beginning to kind of question in the back of my head. There's part of me in the back of my head that wonders if DPS are really a little too overpowered, but there's no such thing. We need it. We need it now. Sorry.
I feel that, yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that gear is a thing. I think gear is the underlying issue here, that you have these I-145 tanks, who, by the way, who are probably very stupidly told, go buy the shitty normal quality gear in Azus Law to qualify for your dungeon. Which is only making the problem even worse.
Why don't you go buy melted gear?
Not even that, just go do the library at least till you got some I-148 gear. Like, don't tell the tank, the one person who you probably rely on the most to make this run go fast, to go buy shitty I-150 gear that's worse than their, like, I-135, like, dungeon gear. And then tell them, yeah, just go do the dungeon, it'll be okay. But on top of that, I feel that it's also, again, going back to this whole DPS stigma, where tanks are exploring a little bit more with their non-DPS stances, and part of the learning pains is that they're doing it in dungeons, and then the DPS who don't, you know, who are actually trying to do DPS, pull aggro off of them, and it's just, it goes south real fast.
Again, I don't think there's anything that needs to be done. If you want to be safe, take a ninja.
You know what? If I see a tank that is having aggro troubles, I make sure to Shadewalker them. I can only do that once every couple of minutes, but I can do it nonetheless.
That's why I said, if you want to be safe, take a ninja.
I got your back, tanks.
He does.
I got your back. I've had to learn to use those skills. They're more useful than people seem to think they are.
He has your back.
Yeah.
I'm just going to rip hate.
Yeah, you have elusive jump, asshole. You could do something, too.
Why the fuck am I going to elusive jump in the middle? I'm just going ham.
Because you're going to pull aggro and die.
Sometimes
I'm not going to lie.
Sometimes we're working on a timetable, Hep. Sometimes we're working on a
timetable. Yeah, I know that Blood of the Dragon is a giant timetable. Go get 800 skill speed. You'll be okay.
I'll trade.
I know.
I'll trade. You know what I'm trading for. You know, you have something you want. I have something I have something I want. Let's deal. Let's make a deal.
You got what I need. You got what I need. She say she's just a friend. Anyway, all right. So we talked enough about this, because we had a discussion about this a few weeks ago as well. But I don't feel like this is a discussion we'll ever come to terms on. How are they? How do they make adjustments? Like, do they just give tanks more aggro? Do they start item level syncing this? Like, which choice are they gonna do? They can't all have a ninja Sly. The duty finder, you can't be like, hey, duty finder, I'm a little low item level, so I need a ninja.
I would actually start doing that. I'm actually gonna look forward to seeing that in Party Finder, where where the party makeup will actually have a ninja, just in case that shit happens. It won't even say it. You'll just have ninja as one of your melees.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good. That'll make my party finder a lot better.
All right.
If they're ever not looking for ninja, don't worry. Did A1 through 4 3 ninjas today and a monk. That is not fun in A4 when the Carnage 0 comes out. It's like, nope, I'm out. I'm out. So, talking about Savage, and so A3 Savage was beaten sooner than expected. That happens a lot, it seems.
Yeah.
So, Elysium cleared A3 Savage on the Tuesday of the second reset after Savage came out. They had a 0.05% wipe the night before, which, you know, arguably they could have killed it before the reset had actually happened.
Right.
Yoshi P was not even necessarily surprised this time. He seemed just flat out impressed.
How's that raid training team going? You know, like the ones who's supposed to be testing these fights to see how difficult they are. Like, that's saying something if he's impressed.
He's impressed.
That's saying something.
Do you know why he's impressed?
Because they didn't need esoteric gear to beat it. Because
of the way that apparently they tested A3 Savage, or Savage in general. So if I'm reading this interview correctly, and I'll read it verbatim. I just have to quickly type 80%, which you'll all understand in a second. Since it's only human to make mistakes, we have the general impression that a team of 8 players can do about 80% of the limit of what a perfect machine would do. So this fight was designed with 80% of perfection in mind.
Again, when every time we talk about this, I like the Terminator theme just pops into my head.
Do we need the Terminators to come back in time and do A3 and A4 Savage for us? Is that what needs to happen right now?
Come with me if you want to live.
Come with me if you want your loot. There you go. And then he says, but these teams are putting out 120% of a perfect machine.
We're beating Skynet, everybody. Woo!
It's all due to a combination of the members, so it's really amazing. So we are beating the machines. It initially sounded almost like they tested it with machines, because I have sincere disbeliefs that the development team is performing at 100% of a perfect machine, even if they know the fight. I don't know. To me, that's pretty interesting, and he did seem impressed. But another thing is, in the past, like when Turn 13 was beaten, he was just flat out surprised that shouldn't have been possible. And then the vitality accessories made it so people could survive, and people were putting out more DPS than they thought they could. Right. But he only said that Elysium beat it by a few days. He did expect it to die without esoteric weapons. Do we think that they are more accurately balancing Savage in that case, and that they kind of have some idea, maybe somewhat of a better idea, of what the players are actually capable of now to have that expectation?
Absolutely. I think it's really close to where he predicts, like, we should be at as a rating community, where we should be at in terms of the top tier of the rating community. Let me kind of digress that. Yeah, I think Savage right now it's good. It's good where it is. It's a nice, healthy challenge, even though most would disagree on that. Too hard, get good. Yeah, I just think I think it's perfect. I really think it's perfect as is in terms of the pacing. Would you really be happy if you were able to blast through this? Like we were. I wouldn't say that anybody blasted through freaking Final Coil, but would you be happy if it took the same amount of time as Final Coil took you?
No, because I would be... Well, okay, I think it took the group... Because I had joined a group late, because I had I was in a rough situation where I left a group at the first week of Final Coil, and I had to join a group on the second week. So I don't remember exactly how long it was. But you have to remember, by the time I had even joined a new static, it had been finished.
Right.
So no, I would not be happy, because that's the type of time frame I would have been aiming for. And that's friggin' that's shit. That sucks. I want something to last more than 4 days. Granted, the people who we're talking about here are not, the common, that's not common for people to beat it that fast.
Yeah. Again, like I said, we're talking about the top tier of the rating community.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do have my quarrels with A4 Savage. I do indeed have my quarrels. And that is why I'd like to remind everyone, A4 Savage has not been cleared yet. Now, all of those involved appear to be suffering on Twitter. Myself included.
Oh, God.
Now, we know that we're suffering...
Oh, God. Please don't show this.
Because there's a little piece of art that was drawn by Elysium's Foldosaurus Rex. If we can... That's the wrong one. There we go. If we just take a look at this right here. So we got Embrace the Metal. Come on, you fucker. There's arrows over there. It looks like there's a mob that's not... We got the Shukuchi Spaguchi, which is poofing across the arena. We got the Manipulator up there who's looking pretty happy thinking about cheese. We got, looks like 2 people going into quarantine. We got the Black Mage standing in their ley lines, about to get wrecked in the face. And I don't even know what the hell is going on, although it looks like that White Mage is really thinking about Astrologian right there on the side. But I don't embrace the metal, but I don't want to. I never noticed that before. Oh, my God.
I swear to God, you could sell folds Folds like pictures as like modern day works of art. You could auction them off for a killing because they're just like if any of you have seen Fold's other pictures, they are really fucking funny. Like I remember seeing his one for like it was a while back for I think it was Ifrit, maybe. That one's just as funny.
I don't remember that one, but that is just one person. You should see all of the other Twitter nonsense going on regarding puns and Lucrezia and Elysium. Everyone's tweeting about this fight being complete and utter bullshit. On every level. And people, keep in mind, people thought A3 Savage was hard, but it was difficult to a degree where people seem to enjoy it. A4 Savage seems to literally be driving people insane. It seems that the common agreement amongst all involved is that unlike A3 Savage, which everyone thought was gear gated, and it ended up just being like just requiring perfect execution of the gear that was had at the time, that this fight is actually gear gated. Now, let's be clear here what gear gating actually means, because I know a lot of people think that means that gear's the only thing that matters. It just means that it doesn't matter how good you are. You need this little extra push from the gear. You could do the fight perfectly and still not make it without more gear. How do we feel about gear gating, Sly? What are your thoughts?
Eventually, we're going to hit a gear gate. I didn't think it was going to be this soon, though. But it's a necessary. I think it's a necessary evil. That kind of just either you're going to get your esoteric gear, or you're going to start getting stuff from Savage. But either way, it's kind of telling you, pay attention to your gear. Make sure you do your dailies, get your esoterics, get better gear, be geared. Because I think a lot of people before Savage even came out, weren't quite geared. You had a ton of people who cleared Bismarck under geared. You had a ton of people who went to Ravana, and Ravana's not more of a gear gate. It was just mechanics and knowing your shit. But at the same time, y'all probably went in under geared. You probably did. A lot of people, most people, some people were on the right track. But this kind of forces the issue. I think the devs saw that. They're paying attention. So I think the devs saw that a lot of people, I would hope they're paying attention. They saw that a lot of people were, getting into fights and having some issues because, they don't really have the gear to kind of survive things. Now this kind of pushes the issue. It kind of forces it on you. And I think that's kind of a good thing. So get good, get geared.
But what if it comes down, so what if this world first race eventually comes down to who got the better drops? Not who was the better player, who got the better drops. What if every week one group got tank loot and all they were picking up was that SO loot, but they didn't need more tank loot, they needed more DPS loot. And that's what held them back. Is there not something fundamentally wrong with it? At least being to that degree, because it seems like that's where A4 Savage kind of sits right now.
Okay, I'll answer your question with a question.
All right.
How have your drops been?
Fuck our drops.
Shit.
Man, I sure love getting monk loot for our Dragoon, and I sure love getting a headpiece that puts me at 560 accuracy. I sure love... Actually, our Black Mage got like 4 casting pieces. That's not so bad. His accuracy's fine. That's good for him. I sure love all this healing loot, all this tank loot. Oh, and especially these healing accessories that, guess what? Our healers are wearing crafted accessories. Stop wasting our time with this shit. I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50. I think that some gear gating should be involved, but it shouldn't ultimately come down to who got the better drops. Like, if you get duplicate drops, if you get... I think that it's a little bit down to it too much. Maybe. I want the winner of the world first race to come down to not who was most geared, who was the most skilled. And I think that the jump from A2 to A3 was massive, but the jump from A3 to A4, Oh my god. It's almost like we're in patch 3.2. They are not messing around with these drops. And please, Sly, believe in our drops tonight. Please let me get ninja legs so I can not have 560 accuracy.
I believe.
Oh my god.
Please believe in another fucking slaying ring dropping. Because that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Thank you.
And another question, how is it bad design if you can beat it in the first place? If you're getting savage drops, that means you beat the sections. It's mostly just because, yeah, you already beat the sections, but one of the sections still hasn't been beaten, and the success of that section depends on the random luck of the drops you got from the other sections. Mm-hmm. That's my issue with it right there. Ninjas don't wear pants. I mean, pants make ruffling noises. It's going to be quiet.
They wear tights.
All right. So, enough about Savage until we end up talking about it again next week. No, I actually don't think we'll be talking about Savage at all next week.
Oh,
we'll see. Actually, I don't know, because I did the show notes this week. Mel, my girlfriend, usually does the show notes because she's way better at putting them together. Like, I just give Sly a bunch of bullets and I say good luck. Sly fills in the rest.
I fill in the rest. I work with what I'm given. Thank you.
So the last big thing, there were other tiny details, quest experience points, scaling that later. But the 2-year anniversary of the game is coming up.
Yay! 2 years!
Yay! And we're not talking about 1.0 because that game is a piece of shit. We're talking about Realm Reborn. Yay!
Yay! Forget 1.0.
Yeah, please do. Well, not the story. Congratulations to Final Fantasy XIV. 2 years of service.
Yes. 2 years.
If you had told me back in 2010, back in September of 2010, that this game was still going to be around in 2015, I would have called shenanigans. To be clear, that was the launch date of 1.0. So they have a whole bunch. Last year they did like a 14-hour broadcast, and they're doing that again this year, which is cool. Last year they had like the Atma challenge, where they had the guy in the booth just only trying to grind Atmas for 14 hours. I think he got 11 out of 12 or something like that, which is bullshit. Again, also by the way. And so Yoshi P wanted to talk about the live letter a little bit. There is going to be a live letter on August 22nd.
Yes.
And Yoshi P has officially stated in this Famitsu interview that will be patch 3.1 preview part 1.
So we're going to have a part 1 and we're going to have a part 2.
Yeah.
Great. You just couldn't put it in one live letter. You couldn't stick a whole thing in one live letter.
Nope. No. Got to put that's business. You got to leave suspense. So we have part 1, and part 2 will be at the Tokyo Game Show, which, if I'm not mistaken, is September 18th or September 17th or something, or 18th through the 21st. So somewhere in that time frame will be another live letter. Now, I don't know about you, but I've noticed a trend when it comes to this part 1, part 2 shenanigans, because they've been doing it for a while now.
Okay.
Part 1 is usually a month and a half before the patch, and part 2 is 2 weeks before the patch, because they do them a month apart.
Right.
With that in mind, where are your predictions for patch 3.1?
Based on everything, the whole 3-month model, and you're probably going to have a completely different date. I'm saying I won't pick one. I'll just pick a ballpark between the 22nd and the 29th
of September. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Wow, that's pretty. I feel like that's a pretty early prediction. That's how I feel. It's a pretty early prediction. I'm going with the ballpark between October, because I don't know when the Tuesday is. The second Tuesday is in October. I'm going with the second Tuesday of October.
So
I don't have a calendar open.
The 13th.
I'll go with the 13th, October 13th. That is my prediction, October 13th.
I mean, it... September will be the 3-month mark.
Yeah. It's usually about 3.5. Especially with this right after the expansion. I was expecting closer to 3.5, not 3 flat. My guess, though.
Yeah, I'm sticking with September.
That would be nice. I would not complain about a September release date. I mean, TwitchCon is in September. But yeah. I ain't gonna complain about 3.1 coming sooner. So we got a lot of stuff coming in 3.1.
Oh yeah.
Let's name a few things off.
Of course you're gonna get new main scenario quests.
That's a given.
But one thing I know Happy's happy about, and I am too, new Hildy quest. Hildy's back.
Hildy's back, baby.
Ability's back. Who's gonna show up now? I want to know what Final Fantasy staple is gonna show up in this one.
I'm still going with the little aliens from was it Final Fantasy VIII? We got the UFOs, man. I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head.
Not gonna go with the poo-poos.
Yeah, that's it. The poo-poos, the little aliens with the UFOs.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with. The poo-poos. I'm going with that. I'm going with poo-poos.
Okay.
Everyone seems to think that this airship's going to be crazy. It's going to be a 24-man raid. Nah, man, it's poo-poos.
All right.
I'm calling it right now.
And speaking of that, the 24-man raid, which I think is going to be on the fucking lunar whale. Like, we're going to have the lunar whale.
No, we're going to the moon. We're going all the way to the moon. Ethos' favorite place, the moon.
The moon.
We all know he wants to go there so bad, and that he will love it if you guys go to the moon.
I feel like we should have Sinatra Fly Me to the Moon playing if that happens.
Ethos
but
doesn't really want to go to the moon, guy.
No, he doesn't. He hates it. He thinks it's a dumb idea. So do I. We're in agreement.
Right.
New FC airship functions, including missions like fighting bosses and going to islands. Yes, the whole reason that you made a workshop is coming to fruition. Like, we will actually get the fight shit, and I like it.
I want to like it.
Why don't you like it?
What if it just hunts again? What if it just hunts on islands?
Okay. What if the hunts are timed hunts?
Okay. Let's move it in the right direction. Here's the thing. It sounds good and grand. Hunt sounded good and grand.
Uh-huh.
I want to see it play out. Because the way they've spoken about these things in the past is as if they aren't instanced. If you go to Sector 17 and you land there and there's another free company there, you will both be on the Sector 17 island. And its resources are there, and whoever gets them, gets them.
Y'all better have a damn airship, that's all I'm saying. I guess an Labras will be there.
I don't even name a third airship, please. Just don't even name a third airship.
Why?
Just because I'm afraid. It's gonna just be Shadow Labras. I already know. Don't even.
Shadow Labras OP. Anyway, we're getting Relic. We are getting the new Relic.
Fantastic.
I thought you'd be more excited for this shit. This is something that...
I'm already have my 210 weapon by then. I'm still going to do it for some fucking reason I don't understand. But I'm still going to do it.
Okay. What? You're looking at a guy who's always said you have options. You can either go, the esoteric way, grinding, getting it, or you could really grind and spin gil and things of that nature.
Oh, listen, I have the gil portion I'm good with.
Of course you are. You're the bank of fucking Eortia.
Oh, listen, if you think I'm the bank, you should see a few other people that I know.
Yeah, I've heard. I'm actually thinking about doing Relic.
Actually thinking about it?
I'm giving it thought.
How far does that thought go?
As much as the gil in my freaking account will take me.
That foundation's about to have to get a little bit richer.
I know. I gotta start, campaigning for the United Negro Dragoon Fund because the DPS is a terrible thing to waste.
My other thing with this Relic is that when it first comes out, I want to do it when it first comes out because I don't want to have to catch up later. But it's not going to be as good as the weapons that we have now. Like, at most, it'll go up to 200 when it first launches. There's no way it goes past that.
So
eventually it will.
You don't think 210?
It's not going to be 210 when it launches in 3.1. That shit ain't going to happen.
And okay, well, no, this is just new. This is a new Relic. I think it's gonna be 210.
No, that's bullshit. There's no way in 3.1 they give away 210 weapons in this Relic quest line. I don't think. Yeah, maybe in 3.18. Maybe in 3.2. Not in 3.1.
I think they'll be 210. I think they'll be slightly better than your esoteric. I mean, not the esoteric weapon, your savage weapon.
Eventually, not in 3.1.
I think eventually. Okay. Every patch, you're probably gonna end up getting better weapons, better item levels, probably. Maybe. Eventually, it's going to seriously outweigh your Savage, your first tier Alexander Savage weapons.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually, because when we get to the next few floors of Alexander Savage, what do you think the item level is going to be then?
So what's likely going to happen, because the 24-man raid item level will not be the same as it may be the same as Essos, but it definitely won't exceed Savage. It won't, because they understand, and it's written in Final Fantasy XIV's way of developing, the 24-man raid is considered casual content and therefore will not reward item level higher than that of the hardcore content of the same tier.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, I see that us not going over item level 210 before 3.2. In 3.2, I imagine floors 5 through 8, Alexander, will give 210 gear, then you'll have a new tombstone for 220, and you'll have upgraded Savage 5 through 8 for 230. That's my guess.
Okay.
And literally Square Enix has given me the tools to formulate that. Just, they're in a good and a bad way, predictable. And I feel that this is absolutely the way it's going to end up playing out. Maybe it'll go up to 240 if they do it a slightly different way.
I just think it's going to work the same way. Like, it's going to be better than it's going to be better than your Savage gear, like how Zeta was. I mean, I know that was the last little bit of the old relic.
Yeah.
But this is a totally new relic we're talking about. It's going to be same item level, just slightly better, depending on how you spec it.
Yeah, but I feel like it's going to hit that point either just before 3.2 or at 3.2, that it'll be just better than the previous tier's weapons, because the strength of the Zeta, the strength of the Nexus, it was always short-lived. It was the best in slot for a month or two at best, and then it was replaced by the next tier, and then its upgrade was just barely on par with the next tier's lowest tier weapon.
But again, relics eventually going to get better.
Oh, they will absolutely eventually get better. I have no doubt in my mind.
They're going to get better with every tier.
One. Yeah, especially with accuracy not being on weapons right now, the relic for healers will almost definitely be best in slot if you end up being able to add accuracy to it for Savage, hands down. Because there's no accuracy on fucking weapons anymore. I almost want a weapon with accuracy, so the same shit that happened to me this tier doesn't happen to me in the next one. Oh my god.
Just give me a weapon with skill speed and we'll talk. Big derail. But back to the list. New gold saucer event. Just anything's fine for me as long as it's not fucking Blitzball. New Beast Tribe quest. So everybody's been wondering, and speaking of Beast Tribes, everybody's been wondering, and I've been wondering this, so I'm not gonna
already doing the dance, so just say it.
Yeah, we're getting the dance. I want the damn dance. That's the main and important part of it. Just give me the fucking Vanu dance. Just give me that Vanu dance. It just looks really.
Yeah, there you go. All right, yeah. It doesn't look anything like that. I don't know what the hell that was. It does. What the hell was that?
It does.
They don't. I got nothing. I got nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah, they look like they're doing in a Shia LaBeouf, like.
No, that's what the second boss of Fractal looks like he's doing when he's about to feast. Yeah. He's doing the Shia LaBeouf. He's doing the squat flex. They're doing the flex because they're just flexing. That's all they're doing. One of my favorite things that they're adding, and I'm sure I say this now and that I'll beat it once and maybe never touch it again afterwards, Singularity Reactor hard mode.
Yay, that's it around. Wait, why is it hard mode?
Well, we have a normal mode. I mean, I guess if you want to consider 8-man's being hard mode by default, it would be extreme, but no one called Ultima, the original Ultima Extreme. They called them Ultima hard mode.
But it wasn't extreme.
This is extreme. I'm saying it's the same thing. We had Ultima, and then Ultima's Ballad, which most people call Ultima hard mode. This is Singularity Reactor. People will call the new one Singularity Reactor hard mode. Although the stigma of hard mode is something I'd like to get away from. I don't even like the whole hard mode, Bismarck hard mode, and Ravana hard mode. I hate that shit. But, I mean, we're getting Singularity Reactor rematch like people wanted.
But do we think it's going to measure up to what everybody is expecting? Oh, we've all been clamoring for it. We've all been asking for it. I want something harder. I want another Singularity reactor. And then you get to it, and you kind of blaze through it the same way you blaze through regular Singularity reactor. It's just a simple tank and spank.
But, okay, Ultima Hard Mode wasn't a simple tank and spank. Like, it wasn't much harder than the original, but it was scaled up, had a few more positioning requirements you had to take care of, had a few quick movement checks, split damage with the balls that everyone would just use the limit break to cheese through. I mean, don't get me wrong, this isn't going to be Savage Singularity Reactor like I think some people want. I personally don't want that because I think this fight was so great it deserves to be seen by absolutely everyone, so I think an Ultima treatment is all right.
I agree that it should be seen by everyone, but I kind of want, something along the lines of the treatment that Ravana and Bismarck got. I want something more difficult than that.
So what you're saying is you want to fight with an absolutely useless weapon, or throat singing. That's what I'm understanding.
No.
Speaking of which, what is even going to drop Like, what relevant gear could this even drop, realistically? Like,
glamour
I'm already
gear.
just guessing.
It's glamour gear.
I'm guessing thinking, I-190 stuff.
Yeah, I'm guessing. It's glamour gear. Fuck it. No.
Yo, what if we got the armor that makes us look like the knights, though? Oh.
Is there a goon knight? I don't think there was a
Yeah,
goon.
there is. There's a knight with a spear. There's a few knights with spears, I think. A handful of them.
I was trying to remember who it was specifically.
I don't care which one it was. I don't know. Whatever. Mostly had swords. They had some staves. You had Fordon, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. And then along with that, we're getting new dungeons. What these dungeons are, we don't know.
Yo, let's get the Vault Hard Mode. Let's do it.
I'll actually be a fan of that. I would definitely be a fan of Vault Hard Mode. Yes.
It'll be like killing Dark, whatever her name is, Gwendolyn in Dark Souls. Yeah. You wouldn't know this because this is a...
I've seen playthroughs.
Yeah, well, I mean, then the place changes. Or you could actually kill what's her name at the top, and then it goes all darkness on everyone. I don't know. Just I wanna go back to my Dark Souls roots with this one. There we go.
Sickness must be purged.
Sickness will be purged. And I think, even though it's Singularity Reactor, I'm also wondering, Primal-wise, there's going to be a new hard and extreme mode Primal. Like, I don't think they're going to just leave it at Singularity Reactor as this is our Primal fight for 3.1.
Right.
I'm curious. What the hell Primal could this be?
Don't know. I have no clue.
No idea. Not even going to take any... I don't have any guess. Unless we start fighting a Warring Triad. I don't know if we start taking them on
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen yet. It's too soon.
It's too soon. It's way too soon. I think that's next... definitely next expansion. Or near the end of this.
Near the end of this one. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Either near the end or next expansion. But something that's really irked me...
All right, what's irked you?
That I know it's not going to happen. I would love a hard mode aetherochemical.
I wouldn't mind that.
It's fun, but the bullshit about it is it's not a part of EX Roulette.
That's another thing. Don't fucking move these 2 dungeons in the roulette now to another roulette and then put this shit in a separate expert roulette. Put them all in the damn expert roulette. I don't want 3 dungeons in my expert roulette. In this case, 2. I want a fucking full expert roulette of all these fucking dungeons for 3.0 to 3.5. Please. Please.
Thank you. Thank you, Happy.
Even if I get Never Reap, at least I'll know I had a 1 in 5 chance of getting Never Reap instead of a 1 in 2 chance of getting Never Reap.
Thank you. Basically, Happy's been saying what I've been saying for like the past however long this expansion's been out. I only have 2 freaking expert roulette dungeons. Give me one more. Aetherochemical should have been that 3rd. If there was going to be a 3rd. But why they kicked it out and put it in leveling. What we now know as leveling. I don't know.
Is it actually in the leveling roulette?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that it was just in nothing.
I've seen it in leveling before.
Damn. Thank God I don't do that roulette anymore. Yeah. That's pretty unfortunate. That's pretty unfortunate.
And this is another thing. Thank you, chat, for reminding me of this. Give fucking high level back some esoterics.
Or like, some EXP. Some real EXP, not the fucking bonus you get at the end.
Yeah, some EXP, it never had esoterics to begin with, but give it esoterics. There's no reason that high level should be left out of the dailies that actually give you esos. We would cap a whole lot easier.
$20.
Faster.
I'll bet you $20 when they take the 2 dungeons out of the expert roulette, they put them in high level and give it esoterics.
Actually, it seems likely.
I don't want it to happen, but I'm afraid that's what's going to happen.
I think it'll have I forget how much does expert give.
I think it gives 40 bonus, and then it's 35 for the dungeon completion, so it's 75 total. So it would give 35 for the dungeon completion, theoretically, and then like a 10 bonus or something like I don't even know.
I'd be fine with like 25.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah, just give it some SOs, please. Just throw some SOs in there. Give me a reason to do high-level daily roulettes again.
I did one on my Paladin this morning.
For
I needed footage. So I was like, whatever. This is the one roulette I don't give a shit about. I'll just do it. Oh, man. Also, since you said you've been doing PvP a little bit lately, another thing I don't know if this will happen in 3.1, bump up the other 2 PvP modes to 60.
Yes.
I want that to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen in 3.1, but I want that to happen as well. And also, the Wolves' Den is supposedly going to get overhauled in 3.1. I guess I wouldn't call it a full overhaul, but get a matchmaking system in there, get a few more balance changes, and then start giving away seasonal PvP rewards to people who are at the highest rank. That's what they said they were working towards doing.
Still, fuck it.
But Sly, you love Seal Rock, which means you'll love Wolves' Den.
I've said this before, I'll say it again. Fuck Wolves' Den.
There you go. He's always got the controller handy.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Reliable.
Yep.
That's your new nickname. Anyway. So, okay, what here are you full-blown excited for, which you just, outside of the PvP at the end, not give a shit about?
New Hildy, of course. Airship functions, getting to see what these new bosses are. Singularity, reactor, 24-man raid, my Banu dance.
Number 1. Do the other half of the dance where they flex, please. There you go. There you go. Much better. It's just that last part. I can't watch you do that last part. It's too suggestive, Sly. It's too suggestive. I can't do it. It's just sounds like I don't know. I'm doing it. I don't care.
Doing it. I like it. I like the dance.
I'm doing it. That's all that matters.
All right. Next. Look forward to it. Please look forward to it next FanFest. Vanu dance line.
Oh god. What about the bomb dance line?
Nobody hardly did the bomb dance at FanFest. I only got video of one girl who did the bomb dance because she was wearing the yukata, and it looked relevant. So.
It looked relevant.
It looked relevant. She had the yukata on.
Oh my goodness. All right, so that pretty much covers everything, unless maybe Nova Crystals put out their interview. They want to give us something else. No, they didn't. All right, is there anything else you want to add at this at the end, Sly? Anything we covered? You got any final thoughts?
Nope. As usual, fuck Wolves' Den, free Tiamat. Yeah.
Why don't you just make a shirt that just says, just make the shirt. I get the horse font shirt, you get the free Tiamat shirt.
Yep.
I call her Tiamat. I don't even know what the hell that means.
Complete with afro. Yep. Gonna happen.
Why does she have to? I don't even understand. I got.
Yeah, you gotta take it back to those old school photos where like they were.
What, old school photos of Tiamat with an afro?
No. Like the old school photos of like the women in afros, and they would be in the lineup just like this, like, fist up, for Tiamat. Just saying.
Sly, where can they find you?
Fuck, you just skipped everything. You can find me on twitch.tv/Slyakagreyfox. You can find me on Instagram at Slyakagreyfox07. You can find me on Twitter at Slythefox. You can find me on Behemoth as Fox Sly in plot 14, ward 5 of the Lavender Beds.
Yeah, that's where you can find him.
Yeah.
He's in those places sometimes.
Most times in Idleshire. But Happy, where can they find you?
They can find me right here where they're watching the show. Twitch, Mr. Happy1227. Facebook, Mr. Happy1227. Twitter, Mr. Happy1227. And Mr. Consistency as I am. YouTube, as Anort1227. Because childhood is a terrible thing to waste.
Yes.
Now, I have my own foundation now. I don't know what I'm calling it.
Childhood is a terrible thing to waste.
Childhood is a terrible thing. I have a feeling there's a foundation that has that in it, in some way, shape, or form. I don't know that for sure.
Not a Negro Kids Fund? I don't know.
Yeah, I'll run that one, Sly.
I'm running out of United Negro Funds to fund. Like the only genius one is the miners, because a mine is a terrible thing to waste. That's just genius. That just writes itself. I'm just saying.
Sly, sometimes I just don't know what to do with you.
I don't know what to do myself half the time.
What was the nickname that I said I used before? I wanted to give you one last nickname before I signed off, but I can't remember what the one I said I was going to use was.
Good.
Damn it. Oh, well. Oh, well. Anyway, everyone, hopefully you enjoyed the show this week, talking a little bit about, well, something better than last week. At least anything's better than last week. So, thank you for coming by the show. We're going to go into post-show right now, so stick around for at least another... I got raid at what? I got raid in like 20 minutes. We got at least 10 minutes for post-show, something like that. I know Sly's got raid in like an hour and something as well. So,
11. I'm good.
11. So, wow, you got a lot of time. So everyone, we'll see you in post-show. Thank you for coming by this week's show, and we'll see you next week where Ethis will be joining us again, and we'll be giving away something. Don't want to spoil it right now, but we'll be giving something away next week. No, we're not spoiling it. Just know that you can't get it anymore.
Towels.
You can get the towels. Anyway, we will see you next week. Until then, take care. What kind of bye was that?